Hi guys, welcome back, and today we're doing the next part for What If Goten Was Born First. Now last time we were here, we saw the likes of Goten become a member of the Turtle School after training with Master Roshi for a few months. Alongside that, we saw him help fight off the Saiyans, when they did arrive, coming in clutch with some senzu beans. When the group managed to win, but unfortunately we still lost the likes of Chiaotzu and Yamcha. This has left the group in a bit of a bad spot. Chiaotzu can no longer be brought back with the Earth Balls, so they are having to think of a new way to bring him back. Luckily, the Krill Dog has a plan, so let's get back to our story. We join our heroes in Wukong Hospital, with everyone being in pretty bad shape, apart from Piccolo. He's in pretty decent shape thanks to the fact he can regenerate most damage taken over a short time pretty fast. And the ones in the worst condition are Tien and Goku. However, their condition compared to Goku's canon condition is much better. It's only going to take them a little bit of time to heal everything up, so they are feeling okay right now. Alongside this, Goten and Krillin are pretty hurt as well, but they should be in good condition soon as well. The group are currently coming up with a plan to bring the likes of Chiaotzu back, trying to think of a way to word around the Dragon Ball, but luckily Krillin comes up with a better plan. Krillin brings up the idea that if Piccolo and Kami are these Namekian things, there's a chance there are more Namekians out in the world. Meaning that if there are more Namekians, there is possibly more Dragon Balls, and if they can get more Dragon Balls, they might be able to bring Chiaotzu back this way. Everyone hearing this gets excited. This is a way to bring him back. They just need to find this Namek. And this becomes the plan. Things here go a lot like normal, with Bulma getting help by Mr. Piper to find the ship, Kami teaching Bulma some Namekian, and nothing goes too different. But there are some changes, of course, like Piccolo and Tien being alive. With the group thinking to bring the likes of Yamcha back using the Earth Balls, they start gathering them. However, they are soon contacted by the likes of Yamcha, who says how he will stay in Otherworld with Chiaotzu until they can bring them both back at the same time. The group understand this but collect the Dragon Balls anyway, just in case they need them. Now, out in space, the likes of Vegeta is in his pod, heavily injured, but trying to figure out what they meant by grant a wish on Earth. He spends time thinking about it, and after a short while, he makes a connection. The likes of Piccolo was a Namekian, and there's an old legend about the Dragon Balls, something that is connected to the Namekians. He makes a massive shot in the dark and hopes that the two are connected, with him deciding that once he is healed, he's heading off towards the Namekians' home planet. Things here go pretty normal. The likes of Bulma finishes the ship a few days later than she did in canon, and I'll explain why in a minute. Alongside this, she has pretty much learnt most of the Namekian she needs to know, and the group decide who is all going, with them deciding that Bulma and Krillin will be going like normal. However, the likes of Goku, Goten and Piccolo will also be joining them. This is thanks to everyone being in a lot better condition than they were in canon, meaning that Goku and Tien were able to join the first trip, not needing two ships. Something worth mentioning right now would be about how Chi-Chi felt about Goten heading off into space to head to Namek. At first she was very heavily against it, but one time when they were arguing, Goten says something which did change her mind a bit. Goten goes on to say how, if I was at the fight from the start, both Mr. Yamcha and Chiaotzu might be alive right now. The only reason they are dead is because I wasn't there from the start. I want to go to Namek to help bring them back. With him saying this, it shocks everyone. Chi-Chi's upset to hear her son think like this, and most people don't know how to respond. Goku is about to speak to comfort his son, however he's stopped as by Roshi, someone who had become quite a good mentor to Goten, and cares for the boy quite a bit. Roshi goes on to say how, you can't blame yourself for their loss. You don't know how things would have gone if you were there from the start. We just can't figure these things out. So don't hold it against yourself. Just get on with living and help bring them back. Goten hearing this, he goes silent, realizing that Roshi is allowing him to go, and it lifts his spirit a little bit, but he's thankful that his master said this. Alongside this, Goku speaks up saying how, if you didn't come in with the sensu beans when you did, Goten, we probably would have lost anyway. So you really helped us out in that fight, so don't beat yourself up, son. And the pair have a bit of a smile at one another. Goten is much more comforted, and this has helped convince Chi-Chi to let Goten go. However, he does have to study on the trip. A little bit of time passes and everyone gets better and is freed from the hospital. The group get ready to head off into space, with Goku having asked Bulma to add some extra rooms so they can do some training on the way to Namek. It took her a bit of time and meddling to do, but after getting the idea down, she managed to do it. That's why it took her a tiny bit longer to, finish the ship up. Now, with the group heading off into space for their month journey, they start training, with everyone just spending their time training. With Goten getting mentored by Bulma every now and again, well, he mostly spends his time with his father, just having a good bit of sparring and good time overall. They can't go too intense with the training, but at least it means they can have a bit of fun on the way. Goku is happy to be training with his son and Krillin again, but he's enjoying his training with Piccolo as well. The group actually grow quite a bit stronger from this and eventually land on Namek. They all land on Namek with pretty increased power levels. Goku comes out with a power level of 21,000. This is mostly thanks to a Zenkai he got, but it's still a massive upgrade for him. Goten comes out with a power level of 15,000. Once again, a Zenkai and his great potential had really helped. Piccolo comes out with 13,000, and this is thanks to the fact he was training with a much stronger Goku and Goten. And the humans come out pushing the 5,000s. Not quite there, but they had managed to almost double their power in this one training trip with Goku. And this one, again, is because they are training with someone a lot stronger than them. Once landing, the group sends a lot of large, well, what feels like groups of Namekians, and they head to the first nearest power source, with them arriving in Murray's village. The Namekians at first are wary of the group, however they soon figure out that the group are harmless, and hear the group's story out, and after hearing it all out, they want to help them, and actually offer up the Dragon Ball to the group, saying they are happy to let them take it, but they should go speak to the Elder Guru to get the final approval for the wish. With the group agreeing to do so, they get pointed in the correct direction and soon sense the energy of Nail. They fly off towards that way and are actually really impressed at the strength of this supposed Namekian. It gets Piccolo a little bit excited, and of course Goku and Goten are really excited to see him. And after a short bit of flight, they soon arrive at Guru's place. With them seeing the building, they are impressed at its size and where it's located, but they're also impressed to see the likes of Nail. The group land and talk to Nail, explaining everything, and Guru, being able to hear everything, shouts for Nail to let them all in. The group head in, whereas the likes of Piccolo stays outside and talks to Nail. The two get to know one another a little bit and actually kind of like one another after this short exchange. Nail is a bit wary of Piccolo. After all, this seems to be some idea that he was maybe once evil, but now it seems he's different. Now inside the building, Guru talks to the group, learning about them, and soon decides to search through their thoughts, deciding to go through the thoughts of both Goten and Goku. And once he goes through them and finds out that all of their intentions are pure, he agrees to let them make a wish on the Dragon Balls, explaining how the group will need to make the wish in the Namekian language. Guru tells them to come back here and allow Nail to make the wish for them. Bulma, although she does know some Namekian, she can't speak it well enough to make this wish, so she agrees to do this. The group rush off to collect the balls, and after collecting 2 Dragon Balls, they sense something weird. A power that seems really familiar to the group. And soon, a rocket comes racing into the atmosphere, at a speed they weren't expecting to see. After a little bit more sensing, the group realise that this is the power of Vegeta. Everyone panics a bit, but Goku spends a bit of time thinking. He thinks he could take Vegeta. There's not that much between them anymore. His training on the way over here and his Zenkai had really pushed him close. And Goku looks in the direction Vegeta is going to land. Once again feels out Vegeta's power and spends a minute of thinking, before looking over to everyone saying how he'll go deal with Vegeta, or at least keep an eye on him. He believes he could take him in a fight, and if Vegeta gets up to anything evil, he'll just knock him out and figure out what to do with him then. With Goku getting ready to take off, the likes of Goten looks over to his father, saying how if it's okay he'll go as well. This is just a surefire way to make sure they can win this battle, but Goku is happy to bring his son along. The pair take off towards Vegeta, keeping their power relatively low, just to make sure that Vegeta's scouter doesn't pick them up, not knowing that Vegeta now has the ability to sense Ki. Even though it's very hazy, it's still an ability he has. It doesn't take Goku and Goten long to see the likes of Vegeta stood in the middle of a field, seeming to be waiting around for something. And they see him destroy his own scouter as well. This does confuse the pair and they watch on for a while longer. Soon, Vegeta turns his head up to the sky, and the two sense a power coming from that direction. A power that rivals Vegeta's. They're really confused at what's going on, but see another ship land not too far from here. They see Vegeta fly off in that direction, and they follow suit, quickly running behind. They eventually arrive at a crash site of another pod, where a weird-looking alien walks out. It seems like Vegeta and this alien talk for a little bit before a battle breaks out. And soon, Vegeta kills this alien. It seems weird because they were wearing the same armor and had the same pods. This confuses them, but they just watch on. Vegeta just stood there. He takes a moment and looks around before starting to rocket off in a direction which the two can tell has a Namekian village in. Goku and Goten have a hunch that Vegeta has figured out how to sense ki, with them testing this theory by letting their power spike just a little bit. This stops Vegeta in his tracks and makes him turn around. He scans the area and can't see them, but he knows they're here. Vegeta stops and shouts out for the Earth Runts to show up. Soon, Goku and Goten jump out. With Vegeta confused at what these two are doing here, he gets in a fighting stance, ready to defend himself, saying how he's got a lot stronger since they've last fought. This gets Goku and Goten to smile a little bit as they repeat that they also have, with them asking what Vegeta's doing here as well. A weird moment as Goku and Goten know they can beat Vegeta. However, Vegeta believes that he can beat them. After all, they're not going all out just yet, and last time they fought, they needed help from Earthlings and a Namekian to win. So he doesn't know how to scale them. He can sense they're stronger because of a Zenkai, but he just doesn't know how much stronger. With them just stood there for a while, getting ready to fight, eventually the likes of Goku and Goten drop their guard, asking why Vegeta is here and who that guy was. Vegeta, not much of a talker, only goes on to explain how it was Kui, someone who works under Frieza. With the two not knowing who Frieza is, they just sort of stand there confused. Vegeta's had enough of the standstill, however, and he gets ready to truly fight and rushes towards the two. The pair seeing this go all out, and their power actually shocks Vegeta temporarily, and the three begin to fight one another. And this leads to the group having a bit of a clash. Goku and Goten are outpacing Vegeta as a team, however Vegeta can take them individually, meaning that they are all landing significant hits on one another. And as this battle goes on, it goes on for quite a while. They're at a bit of a standstill. However, after some time passes, something terrifying enters the atmosphere. The battle is stopped by this, and all of them look in the direction it's coming in from. Vegeta panics and looks pretty scared, saying, "Frieza." With Goku and Goten confused, they look over to Vegeta, asking what's going on. With Vegeta looking pissed off, he says to them, "There's only one way we make it out of this alive, and that's if we work together. But even then, this is not going to be easy." With Goku and Goten even more confused, Vegeta goes on to explain who the high power level belongs to, and also goes on to explain what he's done, and leaves out the part of why he's here. With the pair hearing this, this kind of scares them but also slightly excites them. The idea of someone so strong is impressive, however from what they can sense they don't stand a chance anywhere near Frieza. So reluctantly, the three make an alliance, with Vegeta trying to figure out why the pair are here, while also not sharing his reason for being here. The three sort of fly back with one another, and soon meet up with the rest of the Earth group, who have right now collected the rest of the Dragon Balls. With the others confused at why Vegeta is here, and soon everyone is caught up on what's happening. The group beginning to panic a bit, after all they can also sense Frieza, they come up with a plan. They first decide to go and drop off the Dragon Balls back at Guru's place, and they keep their energy as low as possible while doing this. They soon arrive at Guru's place, with Nail looking worried. However, once he sees the group, he tries to figure out what's going on. The group share the small bit of info they know, while Vegeta stays quiet in the back. Nail hearing all of this, he understands his planet is in danger, and is looking over towards Piccolo, already considering fusing with him. After all, the combination of these two should be more than enough. However, the shout of Guru asking Nail to allow the group in, with him gesturing everyone in. The group enter, and Guru tells them how he hates to ask them to do this, but he asks for them to defend his planet from the monster who has appeared. Guru heard everything they shared with Nail, and understands that his planet is in great danger. The Earth group looks at Guru, explaining how they already planned on doing so, and the likes of Vegeta doesn't say anything, but thinks how he just wants to find a way to survive and get his wish. The likes of Guru reaches out his hand, touching the top of Goten's head and releasing the power hidden within the boy. With Goten's power spiking up massively, everyone is shocked. Guru explains how he can unlock their hidden power and ensures this is his best bet of saving the planet. And slowly he goes through all of the Earth group, having the ability to unlock their power, he does so. With Vegeta eventually coming round, he goes to unleash his power before hesitating. He searches through Vegeta's mind and finds a lot of terrifying things, sees all of the destruction and murder, and he refuses to unlock Vegeta's potential. Whereas there's a small portion of good in Vegeta, it is very, very far back in the deepest, darkest part of his heart. So Guru refuses. Vegeta is pissed at this and he gets ready to attack the Elder. However, he remembers that he needs the help of the group, so he doesn't want them to, turn against him. After all, they have all gotten massively stronger. The group have actually grown quite a fair bit thanks to this, and their power levels will be on screen right now. And this means that the Earthlings have actually pulled ahead of Vegeta. So now with this done, the group can sense that they are still behind Frieza, but they believe that they might have a shot if they all work together. Now, they all head off towards Frieza, with Bulma staying with Guru to make sure that she stays out of harm's way and also to keep an eye on the Dragon Balls. Eventually, the group make it to Frieza's ship. They all have kept their power low until they have arrived, so they have got there relatively undetected. At first arriving, they see that Frieza had landed where Vegeta landed, and there are soldiers searching the area. And soon they all begin to rush off, with the group giving each other a lock. They quickly split off, dealing with the Frieza soldiers while keeping their power as low as possible. And with them all knocked out, they bring the bodies of the unconscious fighters back to the ship, throwing them on top of it. And the FUD grabs Frieza's attention. The tyrant, seeing this, flies outside to meet the group. He sees that all of his men have been knocked out and looks confused. And he then sees the likes of Vegeta and looks very amused. He smiles and asks the prince why he decided to run earlier. With Vegeta flinching, the group looks confused, with Frieza laughing, see as the group don't know why he's here. He goes on to explain who he is, and then goes on to say, "Oh yes, the prince and I had a deadly important meeting to go through. It's about the prince's performance recently, and how both of his teammates have unfortunately perished. So I thought we could just have a meeting where maybe the prince could join them." The whole time he speaks, Frieza doesn't break eye contact with Vegeta, and he also smiles throughout the whole thing. With the group realizing that Vegeta brought the likes of Frieza to the planet, they are annoyed that Vegeta brought a threat like him to this planet, which is peaceful. With the prince saying how he knew he was going to be killed, so he came to the planet hoping he could get some wish on those Dragon Balls or whatever they were. They had them on Earth. He assumed they were somehow connected to the Namekians, and came here hoping to try and get immortality so he could beat Frieza, but he's not seen anything so far. With the group shocked at how well Vegeta figured everything out, they don't say how close or correct he was, and just keep quiet about it. Frieza, hearing this, is interested in the balls and asks the group about them. However, they have no intention on sharing anything, and Frieza can see this. So Frieza shouts out for the rest of his men in the building to head off and collect the balls, or figure out what they are at least. With a few more soldiers flying out from the ship, they begin to rocket off in different directions. However, the lights of Piccolo quickly powers up and takes them all down quickly. Frieza, having gotten a read on Piccolo's power level, is kind of interested and impressed. Frieza asks the group if they aren't willing to help him, are they okay with dying? The group feel the killing intent coming off Frieza, as they all get ready to fight with Frieza. Frieza shoots off a death beam towards the likes of Krillin. However, Krillin goes to brace himself, but luckily a Goku powered up to his max is able to deflect it. It leaves a scorch mark on his hand, but he did stop it. Frieza's impressed at the power of Goku, and Goku's power is close to being half of Frieza's. Tyrant is once again impressed and asks more about Goku, learning how he's a Saiyan. And this is really interesting to Frieza. He does kind of want to offer him a job, but it seems like he's not the cooperative type. So he decides he'll just kill them here and now. Frieza begins to climb out of his chair and shows off his power, and welcomes the group to try and fight him. Everyone goes all out against Frieza, and he's kind of impressed at their power, with Goku and Goten then making a fast rush straight towards the Tyrant. With the pair managing to actually catch Frieza off guard, they land some good blows in and actually manage to knock the wind out of Frieza, This lets the group gain some momentum, and Piccolo, following up after this, lands a massive kick straight to Frieza's face. And as Frieza begins to fly away, he stretches out his arm, grabbing the Frieza's leg and slamming him straight into the ground. Krillin and Tien, seeing an opening, fire off a big blast towards Frieza, and this causes a massive explosion. Dust begins to lift up, and the group look on, and then sense something horrifying. The power of Frieza begins to grow massively. The group panic a bit, both Goku and Piccolo firing a blast into the dust, hoping to do some damage. However, they soon feel the power of Frieza peak off, at a massively high power. With everyone feeling the change, they soon see the smoke around Frieza settle, and reveal his second form. Everyone is amazed to see this, and feel the power of Frieza truly. And then the group get ready to fight, however the speed of Frieza is too much. He moves very briefly, and soon gets in front of Goku, landing a massive punch straight into the Saiyan skull and sending him flying into the sky. Goku grips onto his chest where he was hit, and tries to catch his breath, while all the group get ready and get a properly good look at Frieza's new monstrous form. Everyone can tell this is going to be an incredibly difficult battle, and they get in the fighting position. The likes of Vegeta is panicking. He didn't expect Frieza's power to be so much. After all, he can sense ki now. He feels so weak compared to him. Even the Earthlings are stronger than him now. With the likes of Vegeta having a bit of a breakdown, the Earth group still stand their ground. They all are ready to fight, even though they are nervous, with Frieza smiling, telling the group they should be proud. Hardly anyone has ever pushed him to this point. Goes on to explain how hardly anyone has seen this transformed form. They should feel grateful. However, none of them feel it right now. All of them feel a bit of terror. With them still ready to fight, the likes of Goku rejoins them. With everyone holding their ground, eventually Frieza smirks, looking at everyone. Seeing how they all are getting ready to fight, he's kind of shocked by this, but also entertained. And not long after he begins his smirk, the group rush at Frieza. Once again, the likes of Goku and Goten start leading the charge, with the son and father duo going to land a hit in on Frieza. However, Frieza is easily able to fend off the pair. The likes of Piccolo soon joins, and this makes the battle a little bit easier. However, Frieza is still not having to try too hard. With both Krillin and Tien joining, they are slightly able to push Frieza back. This is just thanks to their great chemistry right now. Even though they are massively behind in power, they can still almost land a hit or two, but nothing ever hits which is big. They do feel their power slowly increasing though, thanks to having their potential unleashed. With the battle going on for a little bit, Frieza is amazed at how well the group is doing, and is kind of impressed. However, he does slowly get bored of this. After all, he can end this fight at any time. And he starts attacking seriously. He decides to start fighting Goku a bit more seriously. He begins to land a barrage of hits in on Goku, eventually sending Goku flying away for miles. Goku, having taken a lot of damage, can't actually get up right now. With Goten seeing this, he lets out a cry, with him rushing at Frieza and beating into him. Thanks to a rage boost, he lands some pretty decent hits in on Frieza. Goten eventually calms down, and a pissed off Frieza knocks the child away. However, this gives Krillin an idea. He shouts out over to Piccolo to start preparing the attack he used against Raditz. Piccolo, hearing this, smiles and says how it's going to take him a few minutes to prepare it. Krillin looks nervous but agrees to try and buy him this time. Both Krillin and Tien rocket off towards Frieza, with the Tyrant laughing at this. After all, these are the two weakest of the group, so he has his defences quite low. However, this was a mistake. Upon getting close to Frieza, a shout of solar flare blinds him, with the likes of Tien grabbing Frieza's tail and throwing him as far away as he possibly can. Krillin charges up a destructor disc and flings it straight towards Frieza. The Emperor, slowly getting his vision back, gets it back just enough to see that there is an attack coming towards him, and he's hardly able to dodge it. The attack takes off his tail, and Frieza looks pissed off. He gets ready to rush back towards the group, however a beam hitting him in the back of the head grabs his attention. He looks up to see a warrior Namekian. Nail has joined the fight, and he looks over to the group, saying he's sorry he didn't join sooner, he just needed to pick up some help. Everyone's happy to see him, and they soon sense another energy flare back to life. With the likes of Goku rushing back into the fight, having been healed by Namekian Nail brought with him, this gave Goku a huge Zenkai, letting his power jump up to 1 mil. Goku rushes into the fight against Frieza alone and holds his own. With everyone shocked at this, the Namekian that Nail brought with him shouts out for everyone to get over here. He can heal them up and let them get back into the battle at full power. With the likes of Goten getting healed first, he gets a Zenkai from this and then turns to rush in and help his father. With Krillin and Tien getting healed as well, they get ready to go back in, but before they can, the likes of Vegeta flies over, telling Krillin to try and kill him. He briefly goes on to explain what Zenkais are and how it could turn the tide of this fight, with him saying how that is how Kakarot has got so strong. Krillin reluctantly agrees, with Krillin blasting a hole through the likes of Vegeta's chest, and the Namekian heals up Vegeta without too much question. After all, Vegeta hasn't massacred a village here, and this gives Vegeta a massive Zenkai, putting his power up to about 240,000. With Vegeta feeling the increase, he laughs and rushes off into combat, with him joining the Earth route. At this point, the likes of Frieza now has a lot of pushback being put on him, and he has to fight a lot more seriously. The group is trying to buy time for Piccolo's special beam cannon to be ready, but the group spend this time holding off Frieza, with them able to do this with a bit of ease. Eventually, they are contacted telepathically by the likes of Piccolo, saying for everyone to jump out of the way. Everyone does do so, however one person doesn't. The likes of Goku stays in the fight, making sure that Frieza can't dodge the attack. And as the attack begins to fly towards the pair, everyone begins to panic thinking it's going to hit Goku. Even Piccolo starts to swerve the attack a little bit. However, the likes of Goten thinks fast and remembers back to when they fought Raditz, remembers how Roshi kept Raditz still when this happened last time. The boy claps his hands together and fires off a Thundershock surprise, keeping Frieza paralysed in place. Goku, seeing his opportunity to avoid the attack, jumps to the right, narrowly avoiding it as the special beam cannon cuts through his gi, and Goku shouts out praise for his son. However, thanks to Goku staying in the fight for a bit longer, the likes of Piccolo had to try and change the angle of the shot. This means it would avoid hitting Goku, but would also avoid hitting any of Frieza's vital organs, meaning that it literally just takes a massive chunk out of the side of Frieza. With this happening, Frieza lets out a scream of pain, as the Emperor begins to power up massively, breaking out of the surprise attack, and begins to rocket off towards Piccolo. The Namekian getting ready to fight gets hit straight in the gut and sent flying away. Following up, Frieza sends a barrage of death beams towards Piccolo. Piccolo manages to avoid most of the attacks, however two hit him, and this is one in the arm and one in the gut. This hurts him a lot, and Frieza is about to send off another massive blast. However, the rest of the team show up and soon dogpile Frieza. This keeps him busy for a while, with the likes of the healer Namekian that Nail brought with him rushing over to Piccolo, beginning to heal the Namekian. Piccolo thanks this strange Namekian as he rushes back off into the fight once again. However, something that happens here is the likes of Frieza sees this healing Namekian, and he wants to attack and kill him. Frieza waits around for a while before finding an opening and firing off a death beam straight towards him. This hits Namekian and killing him there and then. Nail sees this and he lets out a scream, rushing Frieza, trying to do any damage desperately. However, he doesn't even manage to get a scratch on Frieza, and gets badly damaged by this, leaving him unable to battle. With everyone seeing this, they rush again at Frieza, and to make sure not only that they survive, but they can kill Frieza. The battle goes on for a while longer, and slowly people begin to fall out of the fight. Eventually, the likes of Krillin and Tien run out of energy and unable to fight anymore, having taken too many injuries. The likes of Vegeta falls behind them, Piccolo, and even Goten. The only fighter left standing is Goku. Goku has had all of his energy pretty much drained and is running on fumes at this point, but the same could be said for Frieza. He has run low on energy and is trying to transform to his final form, but even though Goku is weakened and injured, he's not allowing Frieza to do this, desperately keeping him from doing so. It doesn't help that the injury in his side has made him take a considerable amount of damage. Eventually Frieza gets sick of this and decides to end this fight here and then. He charges up a massive death ball and begins to fly into the sky, throwing it straight into the ground. Goku, panicking, holds the death ball and begins to wrestle with it, making sure it doesn't hit the planet. One, because it will kill everyone nearby, and two, it will destroy the planet. Everyone seeing Goku wrestle with this attack, which he is losing against, try to help. All the Earth group cheer on encouragement, and Vegeta throws off the last of his energy towards the death ball to give Goku somewhat of an advantage. Goku is losing ground, however it seems like his power is spiking every now and again. It is a massive amount it jumps up by. His hair seems to stick up a little bit as well, but it doesn't seem to be sticking. Everyone watches on from the side as Goku eventually has an idea. He begins to charge two key beams where his hands are inside the death ball, and once they are relatively big, he detonates them, completely destroying the attack. With Frieza shocked by this, Goku laughs as he's completely out of energy now. He falls to the ground and passes out. Everyone watches on as Frieza laughs, having realised he has won. He flies to the ground and puts his foot on Goku's head. He then points his finger down towards him and begins to laugh, saying how it was a good fight, but you Saiyans never stood a chance. Didn't even manage to get to me to my final form. It's quite sad, really. With Frieza then looking down, his fingers begin to collide. Everyone shouts out for Goku. The likes of Tien even forms a tri-beam sign with one hand, willing to risk all of his energy to buy Goku a few seconds. However, soon, the sound of a child grunting in pain and energy spiking up massively grabs everyone's attention. The ground beneath everyone begins to shake, and lightning begins to form and crack. Everyone turns around to see the likes of Goten, pulling his very injured body off the ground. He lets out a massive scream, saying for Frieza to leave his father alone. Frieza laughs at this, looking at the child. However, he stops laughing very fast. As the boy's hair begins to spike upwards, his eyes begin to whiten, and his hair turns golden. Goten becomes the legendary Super Saiyan. Everyone is shocked, especially Vegeta, as he watches a child, a hybrid, become the legend he thought he was. With Goten rushing over to Frieza, he lands a massive punch straight into the Emperor's face, sending him rocketing away. Goten doesn't waste any time and appears behind Frieza, elbowing him straight into the back. With Frieza then stopping all momentum, he stays motionless in the air for a few seconds, before a kick from Goten sends him flying straight into the air. Frieza lets out a wince of pain as Goten then appears above him, hammering him straight into the ground. With everyone watching this, Vegeta explains what Goten has become, as Goten continues to brutally beat into Frieza. Eventually, Goten gets bored, and charges up his final attack, killing the Emperor and passing out himself. Everyone is shocked at what just happened and confused, but all slowly get back to their feet, with Piccolo and Krillin checking on Goten and Goku. Finding out they're both alive, everyone lets a sigh of relief as they start to rest up.